Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala. Amma ba'd. We're going to try and finish the chapter today, inshallah. So Abdul Rahman, you're going to have to be a good reader. Yalla, go.
Number 27. Yusuf rahimahullah also said, with good manners you will understand knowledge. With knowledge you will correct the actions. With actions you will attain wisdom. With wisdom you will comprehend zuhd, renouncing of the worldly life, and be granted it. With zuhd you will abandon the worldly life. With abandonment of the worldly life you will long for the hereafter. And with longing for the hereafter you will achieve Allah's contentment.
Two things here that we want to focus on. Number one is wisdom. The second one is zuhud. Wisdom is something that a person of knowledge attains. He implements his knowledge. One of the things that the knowledge gives him is wisdom. And one of the reasons we constantly need to go back to the people of knowledge is because of the wisdom that they have. The Salaf would say, in particular Al-Hasan Al-Basri rahimahullah, would say that the scholar sees the fitna before it happens. As for the layman, they only see it after it's passed. So there are a lot of things that a person right now may see as, okay, it's not a problem. But the scholar knows it's wrong because of reasons X, Y, Z. If you're going to rely on yourself without knowledge to be able to differentiate between right and wrong, right now it doesn't look like an issue, but you come 1 year's time, 5 years time, 10 years time, you see the issue that it causes, whether it's for you personally or in the community. Allah Azza wa Jalla has given the ulama that wisdom. And so when the scholars, they say, the leaders in the community, those that have experience, those that have age behind them, those that have Islamic knowledge behind them, they say this is not good, then stay away, even if you disagree. Or they say it is good, then go along, even if you disagree. Because there's a big difference in the wisdom that you have and the wisdom that they have. And one of the issues that the youth are afflicted with constantly is a lack of wisdom. Whether it is in religion or it's in life in general. We have a massive lack of wisdom. And only when you become older in age, you say, subhanallah, now I understand what they were talking about. So as students of knowledge, we need to be smarter. We need to take that knowledge that we have and actually implement it. By understanding that those that are older than us, they have wisdom, they have experience. And so when they say something with an Islamic backing, of course, then we take what they say, even if we don't see it as it is right now. And inshallah Azza wa Jal, later on, we will also come to that realization. The second one is zuhud. The second one is zuhud. For you to be a person that's able to be away from the dunya. Remember, we spoke at the beginning that when you want to take a life of a student of knowledge, it is no longer about halal and haram. If it's halal, I'll do it. If it's haram, I'll stay away from it. But rather it's about good and better. As a student of knowledge, your concern needs to be above halal and haram. What's good and what's better. Is that haram if I don't pray my sunnah prayers? It's not haram if you don't pray your sunnah prayers. Okay, I'm not going to pray it then. That is for a complete layman. As for the student of knowledge, is it better if I pray my sunnah prayers? Yes, it's better. Khalas, I'll do it inshallah. That's the mindset of the student of knowledge. So, when it comes to zuhud, leaving the dunya, is it something that is an obligation for you to move yourself away from the dunya? It's not an obligation. But is it better? Of course it's better. Of course it's better. A person, again, with knowledge, you start to find where's that balance between what's healthy leaving of the dunya and what's not a healthy leaving of the dunya. Some people try and go too extreme, they end up flipping back worse. We don't want that. But there's a healthy leaving of the dunya where you're living comfortably according to your level, but without going into exaggeration. A person buys a $100 shirt, even though he can afford a $3,000 shirt. But he leaves it because of zuhud. Okay? Or a person drives a $30,000 car as opposed to a $300,000 car, even though he can afford it. For what reason? The reason of zuhud. A person, instead of going on holidays every week, he invests more into sadaqah for projects all around the world, etc. For what reason? Zuhud. This is also something that knowledge breeds. A person without knowledge and without leading a life of knowledge, he will struggle to be a zahid. Why? Because the mas'ala always remains haram or halal. Is it haram for me to buy the $10,000 watch? If you tell him it's not haram, he bought the $10,000 watch. The student of knowledge needs to be above that and better than that. Naam, it needs to be above and better than that. Gym. Okay, forget a person, maybe it's not materialistic. It could be something like gym. Is it haram to spend 10 hours in the gym a day? If you fulfilled all your obligations. Is it haram to spend 10 hours in the gym a day? Halal haram, it's not haram. Halal haram, it's not haram. Is it the best thing to do? Is it the most productive thing to do? No, it's not. Again, we don't want to get to the other extreme, where you say to a person, don't work out. And again, don't look at the appearance. Allahumma barik, there's a lot of working out here. Allahumma barik. Jayyid. Don't say, no, don't go to the gym at all. Go, for example, an hour. You're going to take very long, because Allahumma barik, you're a professional athlete. Okay, go 2 hours. But the other 8 hours that you had spare, where's your spending time in that which is better? Coming to the masjid, visiting your relatives, studying the religion, reading the Quran, memorizing the Quran, looking after your parents, going and doing work in the community, etc. Okay, there's better than what you were doing in the gym. It's a matter of good and better. Okay, with a healthy leaving of the dunya. Where does that come? It comes through a person having and seeking knowledge and sitting with the people of wisdom and understanding. Continue.
I heard Abu al-Qasim al-Junayd rahimahullah say, when you desire to be honored by knowledge and to be ascribed to it and to be from its people before giving the knowledge what right it has from you, from action, its light becomes veiled from you and all that remains upon you is its mark and appearance. That knowledge is against you, not for you. This is since knowledge directs to implementing it. So if knowledge is not implemented in its due stages, its blessings depart.
Now, as we've mentioned before, that knowledge is, one of the beautiful statements we read last week, knowledge is worldly. All of knowledge is worldly. When does it become for the hereafter? When it's acted upon. Similarly here, if you want to be a person who wants to awe of the scholars, you want to be respected, that you're a person of knowledge, it's not going to benefit you at all. You want to give knowledge its right, that only comes to the implementation of that knowledge. And that's the purpose of knowledge. If you have any other intention or you try and achieve greatness through any other way besides implementing that knowledge, then that person will be veiled from the benefit, he will be prevented from the benefit of that knowledge. Continue.
I heard Abu Abdullah
Sorry. Just one thing that you can take a benefit from this regarding is how many brothers, if you do a lesson about smashing someone else or another group, the masjid is full. The masjid is full. Why? Because yes, I'm going to go and be able to smash that person, I'm going to be able to refute that person, etc. It's like almost like gossip. Okay, people like gossip. They're attracted to gossip. So anything that's going to bring about smashing someone, mad, hectic, I'm there. When it's about changing yourself, it's always hard. The lessons about purification of the soul, or about those dry lessons about improving yourself, these are the hardest on the individuals. And this is where you see, again, the student of knowledge from the others. The student of knowledge, he's after what's going to benefit me. If me knowing how to refute others is going to benefit me, no issue. And it's needed Islamically. But is it everything? No, it's not everything. Is it what you focus on? No, it's not what you focus on. You use it where it's needed. It's like learning how to fight. You need to know how to fight. But you're going to go and punch on every day? You're not going to punch on every day. But in the times that you need to be able to defend yourself, you defend yourself well. But a person, for him to think, okay, I'm going to refute because I want to make that my life. It's not your life. What about going to work? What about studying? What about being with your parents? What about looking after your health? All of the things that you need on a day-to-day basis. No, I don't want any of that. I just want to know how to fight. You're going to have a lot of deficiencies in your life. You're going to have a lot of problems in your life. And you see that a lot with the brothers. How to refute, how to smash someone, they love that. Why? Because it's entertaining. But about yourself and improving yourself and making the right decisions and how to differentiate between the two and building your own knowledge, this is lesser, unfortunately. And so we want to make sure that we are students of knowledge, where we're learning that which we need, that which is going to better us, that which we implement to become better Muslims, to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Is there a time and place for smashing other people? Yeah, of course. Is there a time and place for refutations? Yeah, of course. But is it everything that you do? La abadan. Abadan. Continue.
I heard Abu Abdullah Al-Rudhabani say.
Al-Rudhabani.
Rudhabani.
Let me see this pronunciation here. Number 29. Whenever you see DH like that, it's usually talking about there or there. Al-Rudhbari. Al-Rudhbari. No.
Al-Rudhbari say, whoever goes out towards knowledge intending just to obtain the knowledge, knowledge doesn't benefit him. And whoever goes out towards knowledge intending to act upon the knowledge benefits him even if it's a little.
See how that common phrase, even if it's small, even if it's little, even if he's only got a little bit from both, a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of action. This is better than a lot of knowledge with little to no action. Okay, so we want to be people. We learn, we implement. We learn, we implement. We learn, we improve. And as we said right at the beginning of the course, when a person is coming, knowing how to seek knowledge, every week he should be seeing improvements. He should always be, okay, after I came to the lesson, what did I change about my life? What did I need to do for me to do? What did I need to stop so I can stop? What do I need to change or tweak so I can do so? As for a person who's been coming 3, 4, 5 years after each other, and he's still the same person that he was 3, 4, 5 years ago, then this is a massive issue. A massive issue. Continue.
Number 30. He also said, I heard Abu Abdullah Al-Rudhabani say, knowledge is dependent upon action, and action is dependent upon sincerity. And doing things sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala produces understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the mighty and sublime.
Continue.
Number 31. I heard Malik bin Dinar say, verily when the servant seeks knowledge in order to act upon it, his knowledge humbles him. And when he seeks it for a reason other than that, he increases in wickedness or pride.
You know, some of the ulama, they give an example of wheat. The wheat stalk, when it grows, the more the wheat in it is, and the more ready it becomes. Okay, so the more full it is, what happens to it? It starts to lean towards the ground, becomes more humble. But when it's empty, how does it stand? Upright. Jade upright. Or like the fruit on the tree. The more ripe they become, the heavier they become, the closer they get to the ground. Similarly, when it comes to knowledge, the more you grow as a person, the more you grow as a student of knowledge, the more humble you become. As for people that are empty, what happens to them? They stand up high and strong in terms of wickedness and pride. And this happens a lot. And you will notice this with people in your own lives. The ones that learn and they become better with their knowledge, it means they're being affected by their knowledge. As for others that are not benefiting from their knowledge has the opposite effect. Knowledge has the opposite effect, where they become more haughty and proud. And they become people of arrogance. People you can't speak to. People you can't reason with. People that know everything. Even when they are clearly 100% wrong, they won't accept it. So you need to, again, be from the people that become more humble. And that comes through the implementation of the knowledge that you get. Because it will force you to be humble. When you hear, for example, the Prophet ﷺ say, I guarantee a house in the pastures of paradise for the one who leaves off arguing even if he's correct. What's going to happen the next time you're in an argument where you're 100% right, but the person that you're speaking to might be firm. He doesn't get it. He's not a person that you can reason with. And so you're arguing with him. If you argue from today until tomorrow, you're not going to get anywhere. What should you do in that case? Leave it. What happens with some brothers? La, I'm right, I'm going to prove my point. I'm right, why should I drop it? I'm right, why should I stop? When he stops, I'll stop, etc. If that person has implemented the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he hasn't implemented it. So what's going to happen to his knowledge? Is it going to benefit him or is it going to go against him? His knowledge is going to start going against him. He knows what he should do. He knows. But did he do it? He didn't do it. So instead of getting closer to Allah with his knowledge, he got further away with his knowledge. And that's a big problem. the people of the book, why did they go so far away? To the extent that even their prophets used to curse them. Because they knew the truth and they moved away. Their prophet will be alive and they'll argue with their prophet. There'll be a prophet and they'll kill him or they'll kick him out of the land. There'll be a prophet and he will tell them what to do and straight away he'll go against it. Allah will save them and then they'll go and commit shirk straight away. Not just illogical, arrogance to the highest degree. But this is what happens when you know the truth and you move away from it. It breeds in you the opposite effect. Instead of you getting better, you become worse. That's like, again, like we mentioned at the beginning, knowledge is like a weapon. Knowledge is like a weapon. You use it properly and it can be extremely beneficial. But put that knowledge in the hands of the wrong people and it becomes a major issue. Allah understand. Continue.
Number 32. I heard Malik bin Dinar rahimahullah say, whoever acquires knowledge in order to act on it, his knowledge humbles him. And whoever seeks it for a purpose other than to act on it, it increases him in arrogance.
No, continue.
Number 33. I heard Malik bin Dinar rahimahullah say, when the servant seeks knowledge in order to act on it, it humbles him, and when he seeks it for other than acting on it, it increases him in pride.
Continue.
Number 34. Narrated to us from Ibn Shawdab that Matar said, the best knowledge is that which benefits. And verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only benefits with knowledge those who acquire it, then act upon it. And He doesn't benefit with it those who acquire it, then abandon it.
That knowledge will be lost. The benefit of that knowledge will be lost in the dunya and in the hereafter where it matters the most. And again, we said how shameful it's going to be for a person who put in the effort. He sought the knowledge, he put in the effort, and then a'yadhan billah, it's against him on the day of judgment. Whereas the individual, he does the effort, benefits from it in the dunya and also where it's most important in the hereafter. And imagine you going to work and like laboring away all day, and at the end you don't get paid for it. And how disheartened would you be? So imagine a person where he does all of this effort for years on end, and then where it matters the most on the day of judgment, it's all gone, and he gets to the hellfire because of it. This is a musibah. Continue.
Number 35. Habib bin Ubayd al-Rahbi said, acquire knowledge, comprehend it and use it, and do not acquire it in order to adorn yourselves with it. For indeed it is imminent, should your lifespans be prolonged for you, that knowledge will be used as a means for adorning oneself, just as a man adorns himself with his garment.
No, this is something very, very, very common today, where a person adorns himself with the knowledge, meaning he uses it as a means of pride and showing off. I've studied here, this is the degree I have. It means absolutely nothing. Now, I'm doing my masters now, and inshallah soon I'll finish my masters in Aqidah. At the end of it, I'll have a certificate that says he's completed his masters. Some of the mashayikh that I've met that have no degree, like not your back pocket, not your side pocket, not your back pocket, the socks, like in his socks I'm not worthy of. To sit in his socks, I'm not worthy of. If it's a matter of adorning oneself, believe me, when someone says he's got a master's degree or a doctor's degree, in of itself means absolutely nothing. Literally means absolutely nothing. Yes, he's passed his exams. 100% no problem. He passed his exams. But what level of knowledge does the person actually have in terms of how Islam is? Allahu Alam. How much is actually memorized and benefited from what he studied? Allahu Alam. Does he have the character of the scholars? Allahu Alam. Did he study with scholars to make sure that his demeanor in studies, his demeanor in da'wah is correct? Allahu Alam. This is a massive issue. When I was in Saudi, in Al-Qasim, unfortunately I was only there for a short time because I couldn't get the visas for my family. But alhamdulillah, the 2 semesters that I was there were a lot of students that we got to know. And this is different from when we were in Egypt. Same thing, a lot of students that we got to know. In Egypt, there were a lot of students that would go there almost like a holiday. Now they would get sent from Indonesia or Malaysia. They'll get sent there, they get sent for free. Everything is for free. So they go there like a holiday. Jade, in Saudi, there was a lot of students, they looked at it as almost like a business. Yani if you go in studying in Saudi, you get the things paid for you, and you also get a mukafa, like a small sponsorship. Okay, so it's like, I think it was maybe 900 riyals a month or something like that. I can't remember if it was that or 300 riyals. I can't remember, it's a small amount. What a lot of the Indonesians would do is they would spend half on themselves over there, and they'll send the rest back to their family. So by the time they finish their studies, they actually bought a house with the money. Now they actually bought a house with the money. So some of them, not all of them, of course not all of them. Some of them, they were there because this was a better income for them than to be in their own country. Yani some of them, they got paid from it, they got married from it, they got a house from it. Albeit, of course, they're not building mansions, something very small. Some of the African brothers the same. There were Chinese students. Now there were some students from China, and from the funny thing is, some of them, they believe they weren't even Muslim. But why would they go there and why would they study? So they get good in the Arabic language and they build business contacts so that they can do business between Saudi and the rest of the Arab world and China. For a person to have a certificate by itself, believe me, means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Some of them, it was for government positions. When we had in Kuwait al-Sharia, we had people that had nothing to do with deen. They weren't religious at all. Why were they there? Because it was going to help him in certain government positions. Others, because it was going to be an easy way to achieve. One of the guys that was looking after our particular group, the brother, nice brother and everything, but simple brother. Wallah, I was surprised he graduated from Sharia. What do you mean you graduated from Sharia? Like, not Sheikh, not nothing. They graduated from Sharia. Jayyid? You need to understand that certificates, but in and of themselves, they don't mean much. In and of themselves. They don't mean anything. This is a recent incident that happened. Some students, that are sitting in high school, they were asking me a question, and they would go back to their teacher at school. And their teacher at school, nothing against Turkish brothers. Now, but he's like a Turkish, I don't know if he's Sheikh, Khujja, Allahu Alam. But he's very, very, very Turkish. Jayyid. He told them certain roles about a particular angel. And said, Allahu Alam, I've never heard this before. And we mentioned a narration about the role of that particular angel. And we said, if he has some other information, then let him bring it to us from the Quran and Sunnah. We'll benefit. So instead of him coming and saying, no, the hadith I mentioned was wrong, or there was a different understanding, or there was a different narration, he said, what's his qualifications? This is a problem. Someone is giving you Quran and Sunnah, which is the evidence. For you to reply, what's his qualifications? This is an issue. After they told him my qualifications, and then before that, after part of when they gave him the evidence, said, okay, Sheikh, but where did you get it from? So we can go back and tell Nassim. He said, I read it in a book. What book? A Turkish book. It being a Turkish book or a Lebanese book or an Indian book doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. What's correct is Quran and Sunnah. What's correct is Quran and Sunnah. If in the Turkish book that you read, it had a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, or an ayah from the Quran, a statement from one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, that this particular angel also has this particular role, no issue, we'll accept it. Ala al-ayni wal ras. Doesn't matter what language it's in. As long as it's authentic, back to the Prophet ﷺ, we accept it. But just heck, no, I'm not going to accept it. Why? Because I read it in my particular book. This is an issue. And his best response was, what's his qualification? This is a problem. And after you give them the qualification, they okay, no problem. Take away. No, again, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. So, wallah, because he's got a doctorate, subhanAllah, I wanted to finish the chapter today. Yeah? Allah, I'm going to finish the page. One particular lady, we know her family very well. And the son asked me to speak to the mother because she doesn't believe hijab is fard. It's a big problem. This is kufr. Jayyid? Okay, no problem. Speak to her. Haji, why, how do you say hijab is not fard? And the ulama agree in the Quran, in the Sunnah, consensus of the ulama. I seen a doctor from Al-Azhar, doctor, you said doctor is a big thing. I seen a doctor from Al-Azhar, he said hijab is not fard. He said, yani, you can't just follow anyone. She said, oh, but he's a doctor. He's got a doctorate in Islam. Okay, no problem. And why did you follow him and not the other 100,000 doctors from the same university that say hijab is an obligation in Islam, and whoever says it's not is a kafir? Why didn't you follow them? Why did you follow this particular one? Taban, it was whims and desires, of course. But for her, what was her justification? Oh, he's got a 7th doctorate. Having a doctorate, having a master's degree, having a bachelor's, none of it means anything if the person's upon wrong. If the person's upon wrong, it doesn't mean anything. العبرة بالحقائق والمعاني لا بالأسماء والمباني. What's taken into consideration is the substance of the matter, not what you call it. Person could be called Shaykh al-Islam, but if he's completely away from the right way, we don't take anything from him. And a person could have no title whatsoever, but if what he says is correct, then we accept it. We accept it with yani, wholeheartedly we accept it, because that's where the truth came from. For people to adorn themselves with knowledge, don't be this person. Yes, Islamic qualifications are important, and they do play a big part, but don't think it's the be or end all. Don't adorn yourself with knowledge. It doesn't matter how much ahadith you've memorized. Sometimes they talk about this person, what he's memorized and how he's memorized. It doesn't mean anything if it's not implemented. Again, you could be a person that's like what we're reading now. You could be a person that's memorized Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi. You can memorize all the books of hadith. But if you're not a person who's implemented your knowledge is against you, not for you. And a person who, the only thing he's memorized is إِنَّمَا الْعَمَلُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. He doesn't know the rest of the hadith, he doesn't know he read the hadith, he doesn't know he reported the hadith, he doesn't know anything about the hadith, except what he knows, إِنَّمَا الْعَمَلُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. But he implements it. That's why he knew and he implemented it. He's better than the one who knew and didn't implement. Jayyid, we need to be very, very, very careful with this matter. That's on a big scale. Come down to our practical day-to-day, week-to-week scale. We don't want to be people that, wallah, I study with this sheikh. Okay, beautiful, you study with that sheikh. Do you implement what your sheikh says? If no, then don't take pride in studying with the sheikh. And me studying with this sheikh or that sheikh or that sheikh, it doesn't mean anything. Don't beautify yourself with the sheikh that you study under. Do you implement what he says? Do you implement what you're taught? If so, beautiful. If not, then attribute yourself to that person. I've studied this book, I've studied that book, I've done this course. What did you get out of it? How's your ibadah? How's your character? How's your work ethic? How's your perfection in matters? How's your intention? How's your zuhud? How's your connection with the dunya? How are all of these things? If alhamdulillah they're good, excellent. But if you find, wallah, I've been studying for years, but my character is so bad, my ibadah is so bad, my connection to khair is too bad, my love for the dunya is too much, my relationship with people is always a problem, then now you need to really reassess how much of your knowledge you've actually implemented. Continue.
Number 36. Abu Sa'id al-Kharraz, rahimahullah, said, knowledge is what you implement in your actions, and certainty, yaqeen, is what you carry in your heart. Number 37. Abu Qulaba said to me, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents you with knowledge, then present Him with worship, and do not let your only concern be to narrate it to people.
This is a beautiful hadith, a beautiful narration. If Allah Azza wa Jal presents you with knowledge, then present to Him action. This is a beautiful hadith. إذا أحدث الله لك علما فأحدث له عبادة ولا تكونن إنما ولا يكونن إنما همك أن تحدث به الناس. Well, this is a beautiful narration. Why? Because the more you do, the more you know, the more your ibadah should be. And one of the things that keeps the heart moist, keeps the heart soft, is the ibadah of Allah. If you're worshipping Allah as a student of knowledge, and you don't pray your sunnah prayers, there's an issue. You don't pray your nafil prayers like duha, witr, there's an issue. Really, if we want to break it down properly, if we don't pray qiyam al-layl, there's an issue. Now, even if it's 2 rak'at, and please do not think that, wallah, Allahumma barik, Nassim is spending 3-4 hours a night in qiyam, wallah, maybe I'm the worst of you, wallah. I wish we could be at that level. But we want to be real with ourselves. We don't want to lie to ourselves. And if you don't want to put as stream of knowledge, put yourself as a boxer. And if you're a boxer, you've been boxing for 15 years, but you don't know how to throw a jab. Allahu Alam, like some of the brothers who have been training a few years now, and I don't think they can throw jabs. Allahu Alam. Jayyid. Then doesn't matter how long you've been, doing boxing for, doesn't mean anything. You don't know how to throw a basic punch. Jayyid. You don't listen to your sheikh. You could be training with the best of trainers, but you don't, again, you follow what your trainers say, doesn't mean anything. Jayyid. Same thing, here. If Allah Azza wa Jal gave you knowledge, then give him back ibadah. Give him back ibadah. You want to be real with yourself. You want to be honest. We can say, yes, I'm the best boxer in the world. Why? Because I beat up people that aren't boxers. You want to prove you're the best? Then get up to the highest of levels. Show yourself on the big stage. Boxing's haram. Jayyid. We're giving an example. Prove yourself on the major scale. That's how you know if you're the best in the world or not. When you actually fight the best in the world. But to say I'm the best in the world because you're fighting people that are taxi drivers and are half drunk, it's not going to benefit you. Even though they're the hardest people to fight. That's another story. What you want as well with your ibadah and as student of knowledge, you want to be real with yourself. You don't want to say, Wallah, I'm a very good Muslim. Why? Because look, my cousin doesn't even know how to pray. And my uncle, he doesn't attend the masjid ever. And my auntie, she doesn't teach her children anything. At least I do X, Y, Z. La. You want to hold yourself to the high levels. To the high levels. We want to be proper students of knowledge. Then at least 2 rakats of Qiyam al-Layl we should be trying to introduce in our lives. Continue.
Number 38. Abu Qulaba said to Ayyub, rahimahullah, O Ayyub, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presents you with knowledge, then present Allah with worship, and do not let your only concern be to narrate it to the people. Number 39. Al-Hasan al-Basri, rahimahullah, said, the main concern of the scholars is guiding, ri'ayati, while the main concern of the foolish is narrating, riwayah. Number 40. I heard Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu say,
Taban, main concern of the foolish, so that no one misunderstands. The main concern of the foolish is only narrating, meaning not implementing. They love to teach people, tell people right and wrong, but not implement themselves. Can anyone give me a practical, day-to-day example on something like this? Where is it? Not scholars, forget scholars. How do people, average people, how do they fall into this? The main concern of the scholar is ri'ayah, to actually guide for implementation. And the main concern of the foolish is just narrating, telling people right and wrong. Give me something more common than that.
Telling someone's like have self-reputation.
This is a form of hypocrisy. These are forms of hypocrisy. Things where people are constantly narrating things, constantly telling people to do good, but
sending like flyer or what they call it? Those text messages and stuff.
Forwarding and posting like da'wah messages. Like when I open up the WhatsApp statuses, I don't read any, so forgive me. Jayyid. But I can see the previews of it. Very rare, I'll click on one. It's going to be very interesting. I can see the previews. Allahumma barik, how many mashaykh and ulama and du'at we have. Jayyid. Like a person who doesn't pray, who'll be saying about deen. Someone is on a group chat, they got, they commit the major sins day and night. They send something about the fear of Allah and about, Allahumma barik, everyone posts. There are some groups, everyone posts. Some statuses, everyone posts. Do you stop? Wallah, sometimes I actually wonder, Wallah, does the person actually look at it and say, have I implemented it before I share it? I'm not saying don't share. And again, Wallah, I'm not talking about anyone in particular. But do you stop and say, do I actually ask myself, have I implemented what I'm sharing? Sometimes you ask yourself, Wallah, a person doesn't pray and shares it. Pray. A person got bad character, have good character. A person's bad to his mom, be good to your mom. Person oppresses his wife and kids. Be good to your wife and kids. A person never comes to the masjid. Go to the masjid. But it's just about sharing. What are you trying to achieve? What do you want to achieve from it? You want other people to be good? What is it? You want other people to think that you're religious? What is it that you want to achieve? If you want to pass on messages, this is wallah excellent. Wallah, this is excellent. And you don't know what message could change someone's life. No one knows. But for you to share things, pass things on, without first asking yourself, what does that mean for me? And this is a big problem. Massive issue. So please, message for myself, yourselves, people watching online. If you're going to send something, make sure you ask yourself first, what can I benefit myself from this? How can I implement this message that I'm forwarding on? Otherwise, we fall into this major trap. And this evidence becomes against us, not for us. Continue.
Number 40. I heard Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu say, knowledge calls upon action. So if it responds, they join, and if not, it departs. The number of his forefathers is 9. Number 41.
Because he said, from my father.
I heard Ibn Abi Dhi'b narrate from Ibn al-Munkadir
No.
that he said, knowledge calls upon action. So if it responds, they join, and if not, it departs. Number 42. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu said, Allah does not bestow a servant with knowledge except that He makes him responsible on the Day of Judgment for paying it back with good deeds.
No.
Fudayl ibn Iyad rahimahullah said, a person with knowledge will not cease to be ignorant of what he knows until he acts upon it. So when he acts upon it, then he becomes a person with knowledge.
This is from the neglected meanings of jahl. Also from the neglected meanings of jahl is that a person knows and doesn't implement. So you've got jahl, which is the common type that we all know, a person not knowing. Then you've got another type of jahl, which is to know but to not implement. And this is an ignorance, unfortunately, many people fall into, while looking at others that don't know and saying this jahil. He forgets to look at himself, and without implementing and saying he's also, a'yadhan billah, in that regard, a jahil.
Number 44. Fudayl rahimahullah said, what was intended by the word knowledge in the Quran and Sunnah was only action, and knowledge indicates action. Number 45. Al-Fudayl rahimahullah also said, it is upon the people to acquire knowledge. So when they attain knowledge, it is upon them to act on it. Number 46. Abdullah ibn Mu'taz rahimahullah said, knowledge without action is like a tree without fruit. Number 47. He also said, the knowledge of a hypocrite is his speech, while the knowledge of a believer is his actions.
I want you guys to actually think about these narrations. Wallah, they apply a lot to a lot of people. And a person can talk all day. Quran, Sunnah, good, bad, send out flyers, etc. And then that same bloke is, there's not a girl on Instagram except that he has a message on. There's not a girl on Snapchat except that doesn't have a other one. There's not a bad place except that he goes. There's not a sentence that he said except it's got an F word in it. We want to be people that implement. Okay, even if we're not perfect now, but we want to work towards perfection. Jayyid. But to say, Wallah, I know, and at least I'm XYZ, and to smash this person and smash that person, but not improve, then this is a big issue.
Number 48. Muhammad bin Abi Ali al-Shahbani recited to some of them, act upon your knowledge and you will profit.
Al-Asbahani.
Asbahani recited to some of them, act upon your knowledge and you will profit, O man. Knowledge doesn't benefit so long as one doesn't perfect his actions. Knowledge is beauty and taqwa. Fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is its decoration. Those with taqwa are always preoccupied with their knowledge. The proof of Allah, O possessor of knowledge, is immense. Neither plotting nor scheming concerning is of any use. Acquiring knowledge and perform deeds Acquire knowledge and perform deeds as much as you can. And do not let vain pastimes and argumentation distract you. Team the people and always make it your goal to benefit them. And beware of fatigue and weariness overtaking you. Admonish your brother with gentleness when he makes a mistake. For knowledge is affectionate with those who are overcome by errors. And if you are amidst a people that have no religious morals, then command them to do good when they act ignorantly, that is sin. And if they disobey you, then remind them without getting annoyed. And be patient. Strive in patience, and do not let their actions worry you. For every goat is attached to its 2 feet. Have patience whether they are oppressive or fair.
Yeah, this is part of the implementation of knowledge. How you are with others. And to remind others and to be patient with others. If you're going to smash everyone that goes against you, yani, you're not going to be very successful in da'wah. Jayyid. There has to be a way of dealing in patience and sitting and reminding and to speak to them with the best of ways. This is how da'wah is sought. And how many people followed a bad path because of their character. And how many people not just yani, as Muslims, how many people ayadhan billah apostated because someone dealt with them with good character. This is an issue. Ayadhan billah. So we need to be as Ahlul Sunnah. We make sure that not only we teach what is correct, but we go about it the correct way. What does it mean for every goat is attached to its 2 feet? كل شاة برجليها معلقة.
Everyone's responsible for themselves.
جيد. Everyone's responsible for himself. And at the end, you try, but the results aren't upon you. And you try and you're accountable for what you've done. As long as you fulfilled your duties, خلاص, everyone is held accountable. You've done what you could. That's between them and Allah Azza wa Jalla now. Continue.
Number 49. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, O nation of Muslims, indeed I don't fear for you concerning that which you don't know, but rather look at how you act upon what you know.
Weakness in the narration.
Number 50. Halbas al-Jilani say,
Maysara. I heard Yunus ibn Maysara ibn Halbas.
I heard Yunus bin Maysara bin Halbas al-Jilani say, wisdom says, you seek after me, O son of Adam, but you can find me in 2 phrases. Act on the good of what you know and leave off the evil of what you know. Number 51. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu said, Indeed the servant will be asked on the day of judgment, what did you do based on what you knew? Number 52. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Indeed I do not fear for you concerning that which you don't know, but rather look at how you act concerning what you do know. Number 53. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu said, Indeed, I only fear that the first thing my Lord will ask me about will be him saying, you have gained knowledge. So what deeds did you do based on your knowledge? Number 54. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu said, Verily the most dreaded thing that I fear for myself is that it be said to me, O Uwaymir, did you have knowledge? And so I will respond, yes. Then it will be said to me, so what deeds did you do based on your knowledge? Number 55. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu said, I do not fear that it will be said to me, O Uwaymir, what did you know? But rather I fear that it will be said to me, O Uwaymir, what deeds did you do based on what you knew?
Obviously, again, so that no one misunderstands, there's that obligatory level of knowledge. Everyone needs to have that. How to worship Allah on your day-to-day activities, everyone needs to know that. But he's talking about above that.
Number 56. Al-Hasan radiallahu anhu said, Iman is not just an outer decoration, nor is it mere hope. Rather, it is that which settles in the hearts and which is confirmed in the actions. Whoever speaks a good statement and does unrighteous deeds, Allah rejects his statement. And whoever speaks a good statement and does righteous deeds, his good deeds serve to elevate his statement. This is since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High, says, to him ascends the good words, and it is righteous deed that, and it is the righteous deed that raises it up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No. والعمل الصالح يرفعه, the good deeds that will take up those righteous words to him. إليه يصعد الكلم الطيب. إليه يصعد. To him goes up. Yani Allah Azza wa Jalla said, what? To him goes up. And then the other ones say, no, you can't say Allah's above the throne. Wallahi. Allah understand. Anyways, continue.
Number 57. Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah said concerning Allah saying, and we have fastened every man's driver onto his neck. This, that is, the driver refers to his actions. Number 58. Bishr bin al-Harith rahimahullah said, the virtue of knowledge lies in acting upon it. Then the one ascends because of it.
No, it is your actions that you implement, and that's what raises your ranks. The implementation of your knowledge, not just the knowledge itself. When you read a lot of the stories of the righteous ulama, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, Imam Bukhari and others, you see that many of them, they will say that every hadith I narrated, I implemented at least once. At least once. So that could be like the Prophet ﷺ, not to be a person who didn't benefit from his knowledge. Continue.
Number 59. I heard Bishr al-Harith rahimahullah say, knowledge is good.
Bishr ibn al-Harith.
Bishr ibn al-Harith rahimahullah say, knowledge is good for the one who acts upon it, but as for the one who doesn't act on it, there is nothing more harmful to him than it. Number 60. I heard Sa'id bin Aqbar, and he would cry until he departed. Say, Isa ibn Maryam said, until when alayhi salam.
عطارد. Like the planet.
Rahimahullah, and he would cry until he departed. Say, Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam said, until when you show the way to those who walk at night in the dark, while you yourselves are living with the confused. Verily that which should be sought from knowledge is a little, while that which should be sought from action is a lot. Number 61.
Even though he says, here in some of the narrations, he says, Attar, as you mentioned.
Number 61. I heard Hafs bin Hamid say, I entered in the presence of Dawood al-Ta'i to ask him a question about an issue, and he was very kind and he was a very kind and generous person. So he said to me, did you ever see a warrior?
دخلت على داود الطائي.
Did you ever see a warrior when he intends to go out to battle? Doesn't he first gather together his means, that is his weapons? So if he spends his entire life in gathering these means, when will he fight in the war? Verily, knowledge is the means of action. So if someone spends his entire life gathering it, when will he do good deeds? Abdullah bin Idris heard me lamenting over the death.
Again, not that it means, wallah, don't spend your life in seeking knowledge. No, from the cradle to the grave. But with implementation. Then just think, wallah, I'm just going to gather knowledge. What's the benefit of that knowledge if it's not going to be implemented?
Number 62. Abdullah bin Idris heard me lamenting over the death of one of the shuyukh. So he said to me, O Abu Ubaid, regardless of whatever knowledge passes you, do not let upon what you already know pass you.
No.
Number 63. Ali bin Hussein radiallahu anhu, from his father, Ali bin Hussein rahimahullah, from his father Ali radiallahu anhu said, the Zahid according to us is he knows, then he acts.
The one who knows and then acts.
The Zahid, according to us, he is the one who knows, then he acts. And he who who has certainty is then cautious. So if he passes the evening in hardship, he praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if he wakes up in the morning in case, he gives thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the Zahid.
The one who's implementing the knowledge that he has. Allah Azza wa Jal make what we read a means of benefit for us and evidence for us on the day of judgment. Allah Azza wa Jal will stop here and continue from the next chapter next week. هذا والله أعلم. صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.